Alright, it is 9:29. I'm gonna make this quick again. FERN, I'll consider a morning panic bounce play, but I'm gonna be cautious because it tends to trade like absolute trash. LCLP, I won't be interested in this one unless it does some kind of a spike, I guess. I'm not too interested in it. RSHN, I like to see this continue the uptrend. NOST, maybe a morning panic bounce play if it does it. And yeah, that's really all I have. I feel like one of these jumped and I skipped it, but it's just gonna be morning panic bounce plays on anything that looks decent. Alright, it is 9:43. Let's go ahead and go over this. I had one trade with DSCR, and this was a morning panic bounce play. It's been up at least 3 days. 1, 2, 3. That's why this thing looks a lot clearer than LCLP has been recently. Still salty, but it's my fault that I was trading LCLP when it wasn't even a perfect run up. Anyway, my entry was at 9:35 right here, and that was right here, 9:35, the green candle, and I was in at 11.5. The problem was is that, you know, okay, this thing could be the big these two big volume candles. It could be turning around. At the time, this was a small volume candle. Okay, so I thought, all right, this could be a potential, you know, morning panic bounce play. And the problem was is that this thing, I've seen this before, and I should have cut the trade quickly. This became like the largest volume candle, and you know, from anything that I've learned recently, the big volume candle probably means that it's going to have more downtrend. And then I had this problem right where it downtraded. I got lucky, it didn't get much lower. I might consider this for a rebuy. I'll actually cut this early. Alright, 9:51, I'm back. I missed my entry. I tried. I could have been maybe earlier, or maybe quicker to react, or I should have just timed the recording like a different time. So I could have been in theory at this like 11:12. I could have risked 11, just 11 flat, so that would have been kind of tight. You know, tight risk. It could do it. I mean, I've seen 11.7 at the ask. It wasn't never executed at that price, but if it comes back down again, I probably won't be interested in it because it's not really the same, but it could still work. Anyway, my entry again was at this green candle 11.5 right here, and you know, I could have turned around here, but the problem was is that, again, I had this before with, I think it was GGII, but when this thing just had, like, you know, at first it was a small volume candle, but when it became the biggest volume candle, I should have tried selling immediately, if for a profit, maybe break even or even cut losses, because, you know, that just meant it's not a, you know, an exact science, but it's like a very high chance that it's going to make another leg down, and it did. And I got lucky that the leg down wasn't even that much. You know, it did get as low as here. So I tried selling at 11.5. I had an order after 9:36 was in to see if I could get out for the same price, and little by little in pieces I was filled eventually by 9:37 at 11.5, which is kind of impressive considering that it was the highs of the range. I just was not in at the best price. I should have probably have sold this one, cut it, and then when it had this big you know, the downtrend, and then it showed like it was holding, then I could have been in for like 11.12 again, and then, you know, try selling at this V1 level. Not the best range, but it could have been a lot worse. I tried buying FERN at 125. I just wasn't executed. This was a kind of like a sharp turnaround. 9:39 was a level. I was trying to get in at 25. I feel like my order wasn't even being recognized. It just had a jump really right here, and it did get as high as, you know, 13.3, and it didn't get much further than VWAP. If this thing makes a lower low, I might consider it. Definitely. DSCR can still uptrend. It could, in theory, be putting up higher lows and break, you know, get to 12, but it doesn't really have to. It's not the best run up because there are going to be, you know, bag holders potentially from back here trying to sell into the spike as well. So that's where I'm at the moment, and I was totally break even on that trade. Didn't make or lose anything in that one. So that was really good in that sense. But I should have been quicker to cut the trade because of the fact it became like the biggest volume candle when I thought there could be a chance the bottom was in. That was a good lesson on why, you know, I should always do that. Alright, it is 10:06 a.m. I am up a whopping $5 with HOD, a 2% move. I traded a small size. I traded a $200 position, which is tiny just because it isn't something I'm too used to. And this was like a head and shoulders failure. Sometimes these can be very bullish if it tries to make a head and shoulder, shoulder, head, shoulder, and it fails and it rips through. I could have likely have sold too early, but this isn't a setup I'm really, you know, I haven't traded in like, I don't think I've ever traded something like this, a head and shoulders failure. I've seen it work a lot of times when, again, like shoulder, head, shoulder, but it doesn't head towards VWAP. I was thinking of this maybe like a dip towards VWAP. It might be sketchy though because it's a head and shoulders and it might rip under VWAP, you know, but this wasn't the case. This thing uptrended and that's why I took a buy. I was considering a larger size. I was considering a $400 position, 10,000 shares, but it just seems like a bit too iffy, so I went ahead and I bought half a position just to practice. Really, I bought at 10:03, which was right here at 46, so give or take in the middle of this, trying to see if it can head further, if it can uptrend more. I didn't really like the topping action. My risk really was this level right here at 45, so I would have had to have cut losses perhaps here. Maybe I'd still be holding it. This thing could still work. It can still make a leg up and maybe get to the 49s, but I sold at 47 because I just wasn't really liking the price action. It kind of, you know, it came down and then it came up, and then, you know, I felt like I had a chance to sell, you know, for more than what I bought it for, and that was the case here. I'm not saying this thing isn't going to work out anymore. It totally can. But you know, this is a setup you know, I haven't really tried that much, but this is, you know, it's good to get used to a lot of setups in the practice. Again, this was a small position. It wasn't really that bad of a trade at all. No way I would have bought it anywhere here. This would have been weird. It wasn't until that it broke out. Maybe in theory I could have gotten a better entry at 45. But that would have had to have been right about here as it was breaking out, and this was kind of hard to get into. I don't think 46 was really that bad, but I guess we'll see if this thing can continue an uptrend or if it's going to fail. You know, in theory, I might have had to have cut losses when it cracked here, and maybe I would have been able to sell for, you know, a small profit. Probably not, just a small loss. Again, it was a small position either way. But this was a great attempt. FERN looks like it's down more. I'll be watching FERN. DSCR is nice. It got to VWAP. It got past VWAP. You know, in theory, I could have been in the 11-12s, but the price action was kind of hard. I don't regret it because, you know, it could have been worse. Like just yesterday, I've seen worse. So good job anybody who got in on DSCR. I did not get into that. I'll be looking at FERN, but you know, maybe an inverse head and shoulders. I'm not just gonna randomly try a bottom, although it is trying to work and hold 11 at least right now. We'll see what happens. Okay, it is 10:38. I want to make a quick update. Yeah, HOD was a good trade attempt. Nice practice. It didn't work out in this case, but it could have. Again, I was in at 10:03.46, so right back here, right in the middle of this candle. This which one was it? The green candle, 46, and I sold at 47 just 2 minutes later because I didn't like the price action, and I knew there was a chance I could keep going. It just wasn't looking nice, and I've learned now, especially I guess for summer trading, to be extra speculative. And DSCR is continuing the uptrend. It never really offered much of an opportunity, except for right here, where maybe if I could have been more aggressive, I could have been in the setup. But I don't mind that, because I want to be, you know, very picky with my entry, because a lot of these tend to fail. But this one actually worked in that sense. It didn't really provide much of a lower low setup, so like the initial panic, and then maybe it can drop and do a lower low, but it's already 10:40. It's going to be later in the day if it does it. FERN, I was looking for an inverse head and shoulders. I didn't really want to trade the double bottom. This one didn't really work too much. I mean, it did go from 120 to 128, but I don't mind not trading this, because it's just a random lower low. You know, is it going to turn around? Sure. Do I want to just get exhausted trying every single dip to see if it works? If it's at the bottom, I could, but I generally don't really want to do that. And I think a lot of people are just not looking to trade, you know, this type of pattern if it just keeps failing, so it makes it less likely able to work. I guess that's a guess. I was looking for inverse head and shoulders though. This is a shoulder, this is a head. I didn't see it until it was too late, but I thought, you know, this could have been the shoulder right here, just not really that perfect, right? But it did kind of show like a shoulder action right here. If you want to say this is a shoulder, sure, but I don't like where it is compared to VWAP. I would have liked it maybe if this thing spiked a little higher, made it look more clean, but that's alright. I pretty much missed these two. I don't know, I don't feel like there's anything else I'd be interested in trading today. RSN did, RSHN, excuse me, did something like this the other day too. That's kind of cool. I wouldn't have really considered this one. It's not the same. HALB could be like some kind of speculative freaking dip buy if it gets to this 35-ish level, because it was the highs right here. There could be support, but that's not too nice. I don't mind if I miss that setup. If it does it, that's where I'm at the moment. Just pretty good. Just one reminder, trading DSCR, if you get in and then the candle that you're in becomes the biggest volume candle, that's when you should probably cut the trade quickly. Alright, it is 11:10 a.m. and my sell was right here. I thought I was gonna hit 114. I guess I got the middle, 114. Well, not 114. Well, yeah, 114. I thought I was gonna hit 114. I got 114.55, which is in the middle. And this thing can continue the uptrend, but there is a lot of people on the ask, and this one isn't really trading with much volume. This was an attempt at a morning panic bounce play, lower low. So we have the low here, and then we have the, well, I guess it's not a lower low, actually it's a higher low. Maybe you can call it a double bottom. But anyway, my entry was really nice. I got in at 11 right here. I was on the bid and I got hit at 102, which was right here, and then it turned around rather quickly. I thought, alright, well, if it breaks this 14 top right here, that's gonna be nice. I wonder if this thing is gonna break 15. There are some people on the ask, but if it can get the VWAP, that would be nice. But I could have, you know, stayed risking 11, but a lot of these that have like a run up right here, but what happens sometimes is that it just has another red day. So, you know, I wasn't, it's like FERN, right? We have an uptrend, big red candle, and then we have a follow up. So maybe, I mean, this one can just, you know, reclaim a lot of its highs and then continue an uptrend for more days. That would be best case scenario, because then there could be more potential morning panic bounce plays. But the guy on the bid just keeps getting smaller, at least right now. FERN might try to do something like that again. I missed this one. Ideally it would have been, I guess, here when it was looking a little like an inverse head and shoulders from 12 to 13. I did trade a small position size because it was very speculative and the volume wasn't really that nice. It was like a $200 position. 114 is still there. Let's see when I got in. I made $7. Actually a little more of a percent gain than I thought it was gonna be. I got in at 11.03. That's when I got executed. Right here. Really? 11.03? Wow. I placed my order when it was 11.10, right? But not 11.10, 11.02. I got executed 11.03 at, you know, 1.1, 11.1 I mean. Risking this level, give or take. I mean, more often than not, it makes an uptrend, but this has a lot of people on the ask. I made a larger percent gain than I thought, 3%. Again, trading like a $200 position. Another one I was looking at was, and I kind of missed it for this one, INFI. I think I tried to place an order. I don't know if it shows or not. No, it doesn't. I accidentally didn't like put buy or sell, so I didn't get through it, and you know, just kind of sat back and speculated. But this was kind of similar to HOD, where it was like a failed head and shoulder, shoulder head, and then shoulder, and I thought, okay, well maybe if it holds right here, you know, it can be an uptrend. Then they had this wick, kind of threw me off, but it got as high as 250 what? Yeah, 253 from this 236, so that wouldn't have been actually bad at all. There's a lot of range here, you know, and if this thing works itself, it can build out to be a breakout. Daily chart is very interesting. It had like a big drop here, right? Probably sucked in a lot of shorts, and now today it just had this gap up, so maybe all the shorts are just screaming to get out of their positions, or to try to see if this thing can turn around and they add to their position. Who knows? But I don't know, maybe this thing can hold 240 and continue some kind of an uptrend. I don't know. This was pretty much the setup. In theory, I missed it, right? I could have been in right around here at 237. This would have maybe would have made me cut losses, and then it came back, put up like a tiny higher low. You know, it worked itself there. So again, I wasn't really there for that. DSCR is back at where I bought, 11.1. I just, you know, didn't like the, I like the idea, and it can still turn around again and go towards VWAP, but it is later in the day. A lot of these have a second red day, and there was a lot of people on the ask, not that many people on the bid. I traded a small size. This thing can still work out, although I played it very cautiously. That's all I got right now. That's about it. I'll be looking more at INFI, but yeah, that's all I got. Just a small trade there. Alright, it is 9:53 p.m. and I am here to call it off. I made just $12 today. Just a great lesson, I guess, learned with DSCR. Again, I have to be quick. It's a good lesson. If when I think, you know, the bottom is in, I take my entry, it's in a, you know, it's in a consolidation as a nice uptrend. But then the people who are buying it up are just getting absolutely, like, all of their buying. Somebody is just selling into all their buying. I just need to cut the trade immediately. I was able to sell for break even, but had I cut the trade, I probably could have sold for a profit, maybe even a loss, but then I would have been able to retry when I see it picking up at the lower range, and then be able to sell, you know, for profit. It did get to 12 from the lows of 10, so that's give or take, you know, not right, this maybe just under 20%. It did offer some kind of price movement in terms of that. I did try afterward. I did try FERN, and I wasn't successful there. I didn't trade FER. Did I trade FERN? I don't even remember anymore, because the prices are like super similar with DSCR. Yeah, I traded DSCR, HALB, and DSCR again. I never traded FERN, but it did have a morning panic balance play. The problem was that this one had like a jump right here and I guess it was just a gap up. Too many people were trying to buy the setup, I guess. I don't know what happened there. And then, you know, it kind of choked under VWAP, and then it dropped, and I thought, I don't really want to trade the double bottom here. Puts up a lower low, and then I'm just like, I don't want to trade a random, you know, lower low. You know, it could keep going. And no, it turned around there. Just, you know, I guess people are not going to trade these if they keep looking choppy, but I hope they start looking nice so then more people trade them. Of course, some people are going to get trapped, but I don't know. I just feel like it's been harder trading these. It's probably because it's summer. You know, I'm not going to be salty about it. There was a time where I was blissfully ignorant trading them in like February. Like just with TD immediate trade, I'm not even sure how I was profitable back then. It seemed crazy, but anyway, HALB was a nice attempt. It did finish strong, actually. I was looking at it towards the end of the day. It did kind of work out. Would have been kind of scary, but hey, why not? You know, it was a successful move. You know, that's a really good, you know, move right here. I took a buy at 10.03. This is when I was interested in it. In and out, just a small profit, small size with HALB and DSCR later in the day, just like tiny $200 positions, you know, just so because of the sketchy price action, it was kind of toppy. It could have kept going, but it didn't. So that was a good attempt. And again, DSCR, I tried that low setup, I believe, at 11.02 right here. I got in here at 11.1. Got out at almost 11.5. It fell, made another leg down. I guess a double bottom. Yeah, it just seemed kind of, you know, different with this one, because sometimes when it has, again, that big red day, it has another one. And I was close, but I didn't trade it. INFI right around here when it looks like the head and shoulders was failing. I guess you can say this was the ultimate shoulder here. It did downtrend, and it came back actually kind of nicely, but had I been maybe more dedicated, I could have went into this 235 to 253 price action, but as you see, it wasn't that much, but it did kind of offer something. A little sketchy because I always thought in the back of my mind it could be forming a shoulder, and it did eventually, but that would have been a nice attempt had I pushed myself to do that one. And that's really all I got, just a small profit gain today, no red trades or anything like that, but I could have been red with DSCR, and I learned a great lesson with that type of price action when there's just, you know, a bigger volume candle. By the time that minute is over, I should just probably, you know, get really quick and start selling, even if it's for a loss, just to avoid any kind of you know, disaster or a whole nother leg down. So that was a great lesson there.